Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are y'all doing? I see all kinds of folks out there. Welcome to another episode of Cliff Notes Live, episode number 150. What do they call it? The sesquicentennial? Yeah, I knew that because we celebrate sesquicentennial of Texas independence a long time ago, but I remember that. But welcome all of y'all to Cliff Notes Live. Almost didn't make it because I was sitting there watching my Houston Astros lose another game in the playoffs. Sure glad I got y'all to come out too and put me in a better mood. No matter how sports go, I can always come out and talk Big Brother with you guys, and it just makes everything seem that much better. So welcome aboard to all of y'all. Hope y'all are doing great. Start off the show like I usually do with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, especially love Big Brother, and especially love the Big Brother fans like you guys who are watching live or on repeat both. Fans for Big Brother are different. Yeah, you get Survivor and Amazing Race, and those are great shows. I love those shows. But without the 24-hour feeds, you just don't get the same connection. I don't know. I start off as a fan. I was on the show. Now I'm a fan again. I'm so happy to have y'all out here with me. So before we go any further, just a real quick mention, as I usually do as well. If you haven't already signed up for my channel, please consider doing so. By doing so and turning on notifications, you'll get notified every time I'm doing one of these kind of shows. I'm still doing my morning recaps. Got about 25 days more to go on that. Still doing that. And then off season, who knows what we'll do. I'm going to bring in some special guests or something. We're going to figure it out. Y'all give me some ideas as well. But sign up for that. It'd be fantastic. And you give a little thumbs up while you're at it as well. All right, let's see who is out there. Let me start off right off the bat with Mask Spoofer. Spoof, thank you yet again. You certainly take care. I appreciate your support so much. I truly do. I love doing this show on a Monday night, and I enjoy knowing there's people that also enjoy it, that we have the fun on the Monday night. So Spoof, thank you so much. I absolutely do appreciate it. Much love back heading your way. All right, let's see who else we've got out here. Guys, so we got a lot to talk about at Big Brother. If you're out here thinking we're going to talk about, I don't know, the Golden Girls. No, we're talking all reality TV, specifically Big Brother. We can talk a little challenging if y'all want, but I figure we're going to stay busy with Big Brother. All right, let's see who we've got out here. Keith Franken. Keith, how are you doing? How's life treating you? I hope it's doing well. Marilyn Sutherland, Tina Warner, Lee Strack, Connie Gabarino. I hope I pronounced that right, Connie. Let's see. Paula Larash, Terry Thomas. I think I got that. Taylor Magnus, Brian Husteller, and I'm not even reading comments right now. I'll come back and read them in a second. Nunez 1919, Karen Hummer, Tammy Flanagan, Paula Scar, Sydney Heyer. God, I love seeing all y'all guys out here. Michelle Moore, Carly Hunt, Amanda Lowe, Lucindia S. Let's see. Ma, hey Ma, Ma, I hope school's going well for you. Who else do we have out here? Carissa West, Jake the Horror Movie Geek. Hey Jake. And let's see. I'm trying to get through these as quick as I can because we got things to talk about. All right, Kim Sinclair, Nicole O'Hara, Tommy Braskett, Chaz, Joe Blow, Pinball Addict. I love me some pinballs. They have helped me on my battle back during my season. Taylor Magnus, Ken T, Kendra, Dane Thomas, Patty Bell, Melinda Leverett, Dimebag Coins. That reminds me of a guy that played music for Pantera. Jamaica Tenort. Let's see. All right, Tanya Kelly. I don't want to leave anyone out. Ann, Barbara Schultz, Annie Berger, Terry Atler Jr., Courtney Fristad, the Zuzu, and we'll call it right there. And if I missed your name, I'm sorry. It's because y'all type faster than I can read. I love seeing the names out there. To those of you who come out here every single week, love seeing your names out here. Seeing the new names out here, it's always special as well. For those of you who are new, we don't have a lot of form here. I will answer as many questions as I can. If I don't answer them, it's probably because I just missed them, especially when we have so much going on with Big Brother. Now, one big warning before we go any further. This is a spoiler-heavy show. There's no spoiler-free anything here. We had a veto ceremony today. Do y'all know what the results are? Let's just start with that. There was a lot of talk over the weekend, but it happened. For those of you who don't know, the 2 vetoes were used. And apparently Blue pulled herself off, which is to be expected. Then Jag used his veto on Felicia. We now have on the block Corey and America. Yeah, well, I think they were a little bit surprised. They couldn't be too much. I know Corey said yesterday, if we're there, we're there. It is what it is. But I think America especially maybe felt a little betrayed by Jag. Now, Blue had asked Jag yesterday, not just to put them on the block. No, that's not enough of a grudge for her to be holding. No, she wanted even more than that. She asked Jag, could you put me up? When I pull myself off, could you immediately put Corey up? Because I want Corey to know that he's going on the block in my place and not in Felicia's place. Wow, she holds a grudge, doesn't he? We don't know if that happened or not, or I don't know if it happened because we didn't have the live feeds, obviously, during the veto ceremony. But she was ready to see Corey and America on the block. America not too happy. I don't know if y'all seen it, but America had some choice words for Jag. She didn't really want to talk to him, and she made it known that he didn't want to. That she didn't want to talk to him. All right, some questions as we go through here. Taylor Magnus saying, anyone else think Jag really played himself by telling 2/3 of the house he's HOH? Yeah. Well, what's the point of an invisible HOH? I don't get it. Everything he did, he could have done invisibly. Now, would people still think it was him? Maybe. They may have thought it was him and Matt, right? Or maybe Bowie Jane. I don't know. But you could have had the invisible HOH and still gotten American Corey on the block and not had all this blood on your hands. Yes. Is it going to work? It will. One of the two is going to go home. Now, I'm not sure how hard they're going to campaign against each other. And it seems like right now America's saying, it was my fault because I was talking to Blue. Yeah, that's not what it was, America. But she seems like she's willing to just kind of throw the towel in and let Corey stay and let her go home. Now, sometimes that backfires. Sometimes when you're in a house and you see one person just kind of volunteering, we all take a step back, say, yeah, no, I think I want to keep the person who doesn't really want to be here anymore. I want to send out the person who's still going to be playing hard. Maybe it's a strategy on America's part. But nevertheless, one of the two is going to go home at this point in time. But what has that done to Jag in terms of jury votes and all of that? It's a huge resume builder, but it also has created a lot of bad will with him. Certainly made him targets as well. And here's the other deal. If they get Corey out this week, which I think is a plan, there's only 2 guys left in the house. Would you be a little bit nervous if you're one of those 2 guys, if you're huge competitive threats and you got 6 ladies, I guess, still in the house? I think 5. And the 2 of them, 7. And the 2 of them, I'd be a little bit nervous. Man, I was nervous during my season with Jessica in the house, myself. I may have pushed out a little bit, telling Tommy and Mickey, saying, if they send all the guys out, then, it could be a little dangerous. You always have to watch that stuff and use it as a bit of a campaign as well. But yeah, I think Jag may be in a little bit of trouble. This week will go fine. After this week, maybe not so much. All right. Michelle Moore saying, yeah, but thank you, Michelle. Can we talk about the cereal boxes on top of the fridge? And Brian Stellar saying the ants are back. Well, it's about time for the ants. We did pretty well during my season. I know some season ants are there 4th or 5th weekend. We didn't have ants until we were like final 5 or 6, maybe. I know Tommy hated them. He could not stand those ants. He was out there trying to kill them. Now, here's the kicker. Here in Texas, you got ants. We go out of our way to kill ants. Of course, we have fire ants here. It's a national sport to kill fire ants and feral hogs and things like that. But no, no one gets upset when you kill ants here in Texas. Over in California, they were very careful. We did have some insecticides, but it was all organic. I feel like it wasn't much more than lemon oil or something, or citrus oil or something. But they gave us stuff that didn't work so well. But we had a few ants. So yeah, it's about time that they get there. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's cleanliness with the food or anything. Maybe so. But they start off in the backyard. That when we were my season, we had a fridge in the backyard. They took over that fridge, and then they just marched on in after that. As far as the cereal boxes, Michelle, you mentioned that on my YouTube shows, and I just forgot to look. I'm gonna be watching tonight, looking up there. I guess they're all stacked up very specifically, huh? And we had some people who were very food focused and very kind of OCD in terms of food during my season. But yeah, I wonder why they stacked it up like that. Now, we didn't have that many cereal boxes because if you remember, I took all of our cereal boxes and using cereal boxes and Band-Aids. We didn't even have tape inside the Big Brother house. So I use Band-Aids to attach all the cereal boxes together. Used a razor, I think, just like a straight razor. I cut it. I felt like I should be in prison or something. Cutting the razor blade off of a safety razor so I could cut the cardboard, but made my space helmet to recreate the moon landing. Use Band-Aids to put it all together. So as a result, we didn't have a lot of cereal boxes because I kept using them for my little arts and crafts projects. So yeah, I was like the MacGyver in the house during my season, putting some of that together. But no, I'm gonna watch the cereal boxes. We spent so much time reading those boxes. And I'm not saying that there's anyone in particular in my house that isn't the sharpest crayon in the box, but I will say some of the mazes and word finds and word scrambles on the back of the Fruit Loops and a few of the other boxes were a little too advanced for one or two people in my season. And no, I'm not throwing out names. I'll let you guess it who couldn't figure out the mazes and stuff on the kids' cereal boxes on the back, but it took a lot for me not to just do a lot. Nah, I had to hold my tongue, but I was amazed. But at one point, I knew all the ingredients of every food product in that house because I was so bored. I had to read something. Y'all don't understand how boring it gets in there. But yeah, I'll watch for the cereal boxes. All right. Melinda Leverett saying, go to the jury, Corey. I think he's headed that way. Oh, jury, Corey and Cameron are just going to be hanging out together. The two C's. We got another C in there. We got Suri too, right? I think just 3 C's. Yeah. So Corey and Cameron both going to be over there. You know, as soon as Corey shows up, Cameron's going to say, I told you. I told you. I think he would say that no matter who showed up. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Corey going there. He played hard. Some people don't like Corey. And I'm not huge on the showmances and all that. Y'all know that. I've had enough of that during my season. But on the other hand, I do feel like he was a decent player. He was trying to play the game. He was trying to work with Suri and McCole. I mean, he was trying to make sure he had feelers out there, everything. So I can't really criticize his gameplay too much. I do wish or think that if he'd spent a little less time on the showmance, a little bit more time still staying tight with some of these other folks, it could have worked to his advantage. But who's going to listen to the old guy when he tells them not to get into the showmances? No one. I told Nick the same thing in my season. He came in there talking, I think, about Sis and Bella. I said, man, Cliff, I just can't choose. I don't know what to do. I said, well, don't do either one, Nick. What are you in here for? You here to play the game or you here to get showings? Yeah, I know, but they're so pretty. Yeah, all right, whatever. Cost them in the end in all kinds of ways, but I warned them. All right. Chaz is saying, how would you have tried to navigate being the invisible HOH? Oh, what a good question. You know what I would have done, I think, is I would have put my primary target on the block, and then I would have put someone that was a bit of a decoy. Someone that if, sometimes pawns go home. So someone, if they did go home, maybe isn't the end of the world, but certainly not someone that would make it obvious that I was the HOH. I'd put someone like that up there, and then just hope to God that there wasn't a veto that was used to force me to put up yet a third person, because then it makes it harder and harder. That's the problem. It's not just that Jag revealed that he was the HOH. This took place so late with 8 people in the house. 2 people are on the block. That leaves only 6 people that could be potential HOHs. And knowing that you've got these different alliances, we know Corey's not going to put up America. We know Jag's not going to put up Matt, or probably Suri wouldn't put up Felicia, but you know what I mean. Right off the bat, you can eliminate those 6 people. You can eliminate 2 or 3. That doesn't leave a whole lot of people that aren't having fingers pointed at them. So it's a little bit harder when you're here, as opposed to if this was a power that you'd had when there were still 12 people in the house or something. It makes it a little bit tougher, but that's what I would have done. I would have not messed around with back doors or anything. I would have picked my primary target, put them up there, and I probably would pick a decoy, but I would pick someone that I was pretty certain wasn't going to win a lot of competitions. So if they ever found out it was me, whatever, they can't win and come back after me. So if I'm in there, maybe I'm putting up Blue and, Felicia or Suri. That may not have been a bad first choice. Send Blue out the door. And the difference is I wouldn't have told everyone. If I was Jag, I may have told Matt, If I was invisible HOH during my season, I probably would have told Nicole because I absolutely trusted her. I wouldn't have told anyone else at all. Nick did the same thing in my season. He got the prankster that the viewing public voted on. So he got that. He got to make an extra nomination. He put Christy on the block. And I bet it wasn't 2 hours later, everyone in that house knew that he was a prankster. What a waste. Well, why in the world would you do that? You don't have to tell everything to everyone in that house. The people just don't know how to keep secrets. Coming from the guy who had a loud mouth and got overheard, but I didn't do it on purpose. I just have a loud mouth. All right. YTCJC star 1015. There you go. Welcome aboard, first of all. Do you think Corey can get the votes to stay over America, and is her game in danger because she's acting so dramatic? Yeah, it's not helping. And maybe that's intentional, maybe not. It's so long until Thursday. Corey today, I saw a thing. He said that, who was he talking to? Sari, I think. He said that he was only going to go after certain votes. He was going to go after Sari and Felicia and Bowie, maybe. I can't remember now. So he needs 3 votes. I don't think he's going to get them. I just don't see it. I mean, Felicia and Sari and Blue and Bowie, I can't see any of them voting for Corey. So that right there is it. Now he's a great player, and maybe I know his pitch to Sari and Felicia and all of them has been, hey, if you keep me in the house, I'll go after Matt and Jack. Every person says that. Every person says, oh, I'll be this huge comp threat that'll take out your biggest enemies and all that. That's a tough campaign pitch to make, because no matter how much you promise that to someone, if I'm Sari and he's promising, hey, I'll go after Matt and Jag, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you may, but you may still go after me as well if I keep another big comp beast in this house. So, yeah, I don't think he's got the votes unless America just goes out of her way to make people mad, and maybe she does it on purpose. Maybe we're getting ready to see a reincarnation of Evil Dick. Y'all remember him running around with the pots and pans way before Josh did it back in the day, banging pots and pans in people's faces to wake them up and irritate them as much as possible, so they'd vote out him instead of Danielle Donato. And he tried to do that. Maybe America. I can't see America doing that, but she was not happy today. So yeah, I think they keep her. I truly do. We even had discussions yesterday. Jag was talking, I think, to Sari and saying, if we send America home, Corey's going to keep playing every bit as hard as he's been playing all season long. But if we send Corey home, America's going to be a little lost, and she may not have the same passion that she's had so far. So they feel like she's going to be weaker without Corey than Corey would be without her. If they send her home, though, Cameron and America in the jury house, that would be. I would hope we get a lot of clips and stuff from the jury house during that week. We'll see. All right, Terry Atler Jr. saying, imagine a Corey Sari final 2. I could see it. I could have seen it. After now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's gone, but I would be fine with Corey making to the end, only because he's a super fan, and being a big fan myself. I kind of okay with that, but you know what? It is what it is. No matter what happens, he's going to be able to go home. I guarantee he's going to get that home. The first thing he's going to do is tell his brother Zach, say, I guess I did better than you did in Survivor, huh? Because that's what I did with my brother Bowie. Bowie. I've had so much of a hard time. For those of you who don't know, I've got a brother named Bowie. So every time I talk about Bowie Jane, I have to really think twice about the way that name was pronounced. But yeah, Corey's played a great game. If he goes home now, he certainly has a little bit of a legacy in the game of Big Brother. He's so strategic. I could see him doing some kind of podcast or something on down the road. What about Sari and America? They could be sitting on the final 2. I'd be okay with that. I'm not a huge fan of Sari getting to the final 2, though, only because I feel like she kind of had too much of an advantage with Jared in the house and being the 17th guest and all that. I want it all nice and fair, and I'm not sure hers was quite as balanced as everyone else. If she makes it, fine, more power to her that she got to the end. But what about America Jag or Jag Matt? I'd be okay with that as well. All right, let's see. Nunez 1919. It should be against the rules to tell you are the invisible HOH. You know, I've seen a lot of people say that, and I guess so. But you know what? If you're going to be a knucklehead and tell everyone, let you pay the price. If you want to tell people, go for it. It's not a great decision. Why in the world would you do it? But I don't know if I'd ever say that you can't tell anyone, because even if they had that rule, you'd have people. Look at the way you're not supposed to tell in that house who you're going to put on the block. That's a big no-no. You can't. You can say, "Oh, I'm leaning this way," or you may want to be prepared, but you can't say you're going on the block. And yet, people figure out a way to make sure that everyone knows about it ahead of time. You know, I'm leaning that way. You could do it no matter what rules they put in place about an invisible power and all that. You'd still have people hinting around enough that they're skirting the rules, and people would still find out. So I'm fine just saying, if you want to be a bonehead and tell people, do it, and you'll be paying the price. And we're seeing that right now. I just don't know why he did it. Bowie Jane warned him after he told her. She said, "Don't tell Corey in America." Well, he did it anyway. Now, here's a big question. Now that they're on the block, America's certainly not feeling too friendly to Jag right now. What secrets are they going to spill to the other side? And I'm not sure there's a lot left to be spilled. I mean, those old alliances and everything, whatever. But I do think they could easily go to Blue and say, you know, you think you were just a pawn. You were the target until you won that veto. Now, I don't know if I'm Blue, or that Blue will actually believe anything that Corey or America says. She just does not like Corey and America. She was talking last night saying, "I can't stand either one of them. I hate them. They're an ugly couple. They're just blah, 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 blah." So you may not be. And Blue already knows that Jared is Cerie's son, and she never spilled that either. So maybe that's a lost cause. But yeah, I feel like America and Corey could spill a few beans, maybe to Cerie and Felicia about their relationships. But at this point, Matt and Jag are just going to say, yeah, they're just saying stuff. They're trying to blow up the house. That's all they're trying to do. It's tough to say stuff on the way out. All right, Tanya Kelly saying, should never be too comfortable. You know, that's my mantra, right? I was on the block 6 times out of the 13 weeks I was in the house. So there was very few times that I was ever comfortable in that house. But you're right. Some people, and apparently that's one of the things that Jag really got upset about. He mentioned, I think it was the Blue he was talking about, the fact that during the first veto competition they had on Saturday, it involved hanging onto the ropes while you're standing on the little disc, and it's spinning around and hitting things and all that. Well, Blue and Jag were the last 2 left. Jag won it, but Blue came in second. And Jag said he was really upset because while he's spinning around, feeling a little nauseous and tired and cold and miserable, he could look over and see Corey and America cuddling and snuggling and laughing and chit-chatting with each other. And it just made him mad that he's sitting here working so hard and they're just having the time of their life sitting there watching the competition. It doesn't take much in the game of Big Brother to get someone on your bad side, and that's what happened. And unfortunately, they should have been sitting there cheering for him and doing everything they could to support him, but they kind of tuned out and were busy with each other, and he noticed. And now, would have happened anyway? Maybe. But certainly now he has a reason that he can throw out there for why he did it. One reason, he's got a few, but he's got that one that he can point to as a way to justify it to himself why he is putting them on the block. So yeah, don't ever think people aren't watching in there. Astro Boy, hey Astro, tough day for us today, huh? Saying Corey leaves and America wins HOH next week. The women will stick together to get the boys out. I think that's a brilliant point. I think so. It's and I think Blue will tamp down on her grudge against America, and she'll welcome her in, and Cerie and Felicia will certainly do the same thing. Yeah, I could easily see that. And I think America will be fine sending Matt and Jag out. She has to win HOH first, right? But yeah, I think if America wins HOH, she does that. If Cerie or Felicia won HOH, it could happen. Don't be laughing out there. It could be some random something or other. If one of them won, who would they go after? Would they go after America, or would they then turn on the guys as well? they're so strong. I don't see how you don't go after Matt and Jag at this point in time. Just so that you can get them out, because otherwise they're going to run the table. There's only going to be 7 left, which means at this point in time, there's no more back door. Everyone's playing in all the veto competitions from this time forward. Someone has to win. I guess someone that's not Matt or Jack has to win HOH. And then you put them both up, realize that there's a good chance one of them may win a veto, and then just say, we'll just get the other one out instead. But with someone like a Suri, as much as those two guys are big threats, would Suri send home Matt? Would Felicia send home Matt? I don't know. They should. But Matt's done such a masterful job about feeling tight with all of them. I think they'd send out Jag in a heartbeat. Matt, a little more iffy on that. I don't know. Well, I hope we get a chance to find out, though. All right. Connie Garbarino saying, like the twist and drama, but may not like how the season ends. Yeah, I can hear that. Suri had too much of an advantage. I absolutely agree with that. And then Ma saying Suri had an advantage. Jared has been a disadvantage. I buy everything that both of y'all said. Yeah, Jared didn't do any favors for his mom. She's lucky that some of the stuff Jared said and didn't just absolutely come back and blow up on Suri. I'm sure she wishes he was in the house. I think she wishes he was in the house and she was out of the house, perhaps. But at the same time, I feel like she's done a better job of playing since he was out the door, since she's not having to watch out for him a little bit as well. Yeah, Jared, not a great clean player at all this season, but he was entertaining. So yeah, I can certainly see it. But Suri definitely had some advantages, and I agree with what you were saying, Connie, about it. I'm okay with the twist so far. Now, some of those, like the zombie week, you could have done so much better. I would have ramped all of the stuff up uber times what they did on some of this stuff. But the twist have been okay. The cast has been okay. I'll tell you this. I like the cast as people more than I necessarily like some of the cast in terms of gameplay goes. But, every season's different. And as far as who the final two are, I'm trying to think, is there anyone that if they made the final two, I'd really be frustrated or not be the fondest of? And yeah, there's two. Should I mention it? I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'll let y'all guess. There's a couple that I don't know deserve it as much as others do. But hey, if you make it to the end, you've deserved it. I guess you've earned it. Even if you're Victoria from season 16, you still make it in one form or another. So I'll leave it like that for now. All right, Amanda Lowe. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Does everyone share toiletries, shampoo, soap, toothpaste, etc.? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I haven't talked about it in a long while. Here's the way it works. When I got into the house, they told me, they said, all right, Cliff, you've only got this little bag that you carry in, and that's got to carry you over for the first day or two that you're in the house. And then we'll have another suitcase that'll show up, and that's packed with all the rest of your clothes and everything. And along with that, whatever toiletries you want to bring into the house, bring them in. If you've got some special shampoo that you use, things like that, you need to bring it in because once you run out, that's it. So if you really like your shampoo, bring a bunch of it. If you don't really care, you don't have to, because you bring what you want to use, but then they have generic stuff that they pick up at the Walmart travel aisle or something. There's a whole bunch of bottles of little things of shampoo and toothbrushes and toothpaste and deodorant, but you don't get choice. It's like one brand, and I can't remember, Degree or something for the deodorant. It wasn't horrible. It's just very generic. But you do have all of that, razors, all that is provided, mouthwash, everything is provided by Big Brother. You just don't get to pick the brand. So for me, whatever, I'll use whatever razor, whatever soap, whatever shampoo. For the ladies, it was a little tougher because a lot of makeup they were bringing in that they had to have stocked up to last a long time. So tough for them. All right. Taylor Magnus saying, can't wait to see Cameron's reaction to Corey coming to the jury house. Yeah, he'll be okay with it. I have a feeling, of course, I never went to the jury house, so I can't say for certain, but once Cameron has had a week in that jury house to kind of decompress and get used to not playing the game and all that. By the time Corey shows up, I have a feeling Cameron's going to be in a good mood. Cameron's just going to be ready to see someone showing up that he can hang out with and all that. And I'm sure Cameron and Corey are going to be hang out by the pool and be best buds by the time it ends. I know from at least my season, they had a lot of fun in the jury house. They had all the movies they could watch. They couldn't go anywhere, but they had all the movies they could watch. They had professional chefs coming in cooking food for them. They had professional masseuses coming in. Is that it? Masseuse? Professional masseuses coming in, giving them body massages. And yeah, they were treated really nicely while they, I think they had some yoga session and all kinds of stuff while they were in the house. So I'm sure they're going to, and it's a very nice house. Whether it's the same one for my season or not, they'll get treated just fine. So yeah, I think Cameron will be excited to see anyone. But again, when he sees Corey, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of pointing out everything that Corey did wrong. And that's probably not what Corey's going to want to hear as soon as he gets to that jury house. So depressing when you get booted. You just, especially for me, I remember thinking, God, I got so close, and yet I just didn't quite make it. It's like being in a car wreck and crashing on the very final lap or something. It's what I felt like. So, no, such is life. All right, Tommy Braskett saying, can't wait to see what happens when they play hide and go Veto with Felicia and her cleaning habit. Oh, yeah, yeah, good point. I assume they're going to do hide and go Veto. Surely they have to do it. They haven't done it in a few seasons because of COVID and all that, but we're past that, right? Yeah, we tore that house up. Now, when we did our season, we did have a rule. We told everyone, said, we don't want to have to be cleaning up a bunch of milk and Fruit Loops and food on the floor. That's the last thing we want to do. So we all agreed, if anyone hides their Veto anywhere in the kitchen area, or at least in the food area, I think stoves and stuff were fine. But if anyone hides a Veto in the food areas or spills any food, you're going home. We're putting you up. We're all agreeing that if anyone does that, it's against our personal rules that we made, and we're putting you on the block for it, or we're renominating you and getting you out the door. So we all honored it. No one hid it in the refrigerator. No one poured milk or anything. So that part of the house was okay. The rest of the house, not so much. It took us, and no one helps. For those of you who are wondering, no one comes into that house and helps you clean. It is all the house guests that do that work. And I know when we did it, we basically, I feel like every person kind of went to an individual room and concentrated on that room. I went to the boat room, of course I did, and got that all nice and clean. And there were a couple of people in each of the bedrooms, I think. And then eventually we came out and we did kind of the common areas as well. But oh my gosh, there was junk everywhere. Yeah, I'm sure Felicia. Here's the kicker. Here's what's interesting about hide and go Veto. The way it works, if I recall, you're outside. They say go, blow a horn, and you have a minute and a half. It's not a lot of time to run into the house, look as much as you can. But if you don't get back out and hit the buzzer in time, then I feel like you have to sit out the next round or something. I don't remember. I need to check on that. It's a lot of running involved. I don't necessarily see Sari or Felicia doing a lot of fast running. If it's such a short time period, if I'm hiding my Veto, I'm going into one of those very back bedrooms so that I can get it hidden to ensure that they're not back there spending a lot of time looking. When I hid mine, I hid it up in the bathroom. And part of it was because I wasn't worried I wasn't sure how much time I would have to actually hide it and hide it well. And I had a perfect spot in the bathroom. I thought it was perfect. So I hid it up there thinking a lot of people would be going back to the bedrooms thinking that's where people had hid it because that's the farthest away and all that. Sari and Felicia would have a hard time getting back there and doing a lot of searching. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the hide and go Veto. That I hope they do it. I hope they do it. That'd be great. All right, let's see. Chaz saying, what was your time in BB Comics? What was your strategy, and would you change it if you played it again? Yeah, my time wasn't great. It wasn't the worst. I think Holly did 38 minutes or something. My time, I think, was like 26:02. I was thinking it was quicker now. I thought I was in the 18s or something. No, I looked it up. Unless the place I went was just wrong. 26:02. I was so upset. I screwed up. I thought I had it all done. I just kept messing up. Nick was a mistake on my comic. He had a different haircut in the two different comics, and I didn't catch it. That cost me probably 5 minutes of going back and forth trying to figure out. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Nicole won. I think her score during our season was 1058, which won the deal. My strategy, the way I did it, is I tried to focus on 4 at a time. The first time I went down, I looked at the top left 4. Next time I went down, the bottom left 4. So it took me 4 trips. And what I was trying to do is those 4, and then I would try to glance like the very last one at the end. But I think it still took me about 4 trips to know that I had all of the comics in the right order. And then it was just a matter of figuring out which was correct, which one wasn't. There were 1 or 2 that took a little while. Again, Nick's kind of messed me up, but the rest of them, I thought I did a decent job at finding the problems. Now, one thing I did when I realized it was BB Comics is I quickly in my head said, okay, based on how much time it would take for me to run up that ladder, do my zip line down, and then go change comics, how long would that take versus me just changing up a couple of comics on their own? And what I finally figured out as I got ready to go was that if I knew it was down to just 3 comics that I wasn't sure about, it would be faster for me just to randomly change those out because there's like 8 different configurations that you could get. And so I thought, all right, I'll switch the first one, I'll switch the second one, I'll switch the third one, and I'll do all the different configurations you can do. As long as I know all but 3 comics are done, it's going to be faster to do that. I had it all worked out at here, the mathematical, everything. But then there was one I just didn't count on because I didn't realize it was wrong. It's hard. I was worried crawling up a ladder, doing the zip lining, it was just going to be exhausting. And by the end, I'd just be falling over. I actually wasn't that tired when I did it. I was able to scamper right on up that ladder. Didn't have I love zip lining. I've done it a lot. And I'm not like Jessica. I don't have any problem falling or anything else. So it was fun. It was a heck of a competition, but it is hard when you're going down that zip line. You're turning your head and you're trying to take in so much so fast, and you're stressed out. There's pressure on you and all that. Now I did see that this veto competition was a little bit easier for these house guests because they did not have to. When we fell off the mat, we had to run around a corner and run the far area away from the zip line to set up all of our comics. Their comics were set up right next to the ladder they went up. So they had a lot less running back and forth. And I'll use that as the excuse of why my time was longer than some of the people this way. Of course, we don't know what their times were, right? I mean, they all say what their times were, but the only one we know for certain was the one who won, that was Jack. I love the competition. And I was certainly very, very happy that Nicole won, because otherwise I probably would have gone home that week. She saved my rear end by using the veto on me. And we saved each other a few times. But yeah, that was a fun week. And I love my BB comics. This is the top part of mine. And it was so cool when I got out there and saw someone had done a comic of me. It was pretty good. They're doing the groundhog. I don't know. I can't replicate the comic, but it was fun. All right. Kim Sinclair saying Corey would have a much better without the showmance. It cost him some cash. I think you're right. I think if he never had a showmance, yeah, I think he would have been a lot tighter with the guys. He would have been tighter. You remember he was pretty tight with Izzy, right? I mean, he was pretty good about having some decent connections. Cameron referred to him as a son at one point. He was tight with Jared. He was tight with Izzy. We saw him talking to Nicole. He spent so much time with so many different people. And then America came along, and suddenly they were spending a little bit more time cuddling up in bed together and not as focused on talking to each other in the evenings. And it cost them. I mean, how many times have we seen meetings taking place in that downstairs bathroom? Now, Corey and America certainly have been in a lot of them, but there were some that were had that they should have been in there that they weren't, because they were busy with their cuddle time. Yeah. And you know the worst part, I have nothing against Corey. I have nothing against America, but I'm calling it right now. That thing, there is no way the two of them last more than a couple of weeks. Call me the cynic, call me the anti-Cupid, whatever you want. But come Valentine's Day next year, I don't think they're going to be sending Valentines to each other. They're in different phases of life and all that. we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise me. Well, there have been more marriages from Big Brother than The Bachelor and other shows, so maybe they will surprise me. I don't think so. All right, Danny De Jesus saying, who made it the farthest in the game after being evicted? Was it the Great Cliff Hog? Maybe. I certainly lasted a good long while. That's a good question. I've seen people ask that before, except I've seen it last the other way, of saying most people when they get evicted go out pretty quick after they get back in the house. And yeah, it's true. I think I got lucky that I'm not going to call it luck. I'm going to call it good old fashioned skill. But no, I think I did get a little lucky winning that very next HOH, which did allow me to build a little power, I guess. I don't know. With that Diamond Power Veto, it was tough. But here's the thing. I think I got evicted not because necessarily so much what I did, as just because people were so mad at Nicole, and then they decided they could weaponize Nicole's anger against Bella and Nick, and I was just kind of the collateral damage. Whatever. You got to be prepared for everything. Now, here's the interesting deal. Yeah, I think I'll have to look it up, because I did stay. That was on day 30, and I stayed till day 93, so that's 63 days. I'm pretty proud of it. I absolutely am. But I remember when Nicole and I were on the block, and I said, I'm not going to campaign against Nicole. There's no way. And I didn't really. I mean, kind of, I talked to people and said, I hate to lose her, but it is what it is, and I want to work with you. I certainly was talking as though I was going to stay in the house and presenting why I could help other people. So it's not that I didn't campaign at all, but I certainly did not campaign by doing anything to denigrate anything that Nicole had done, throw her under the bus or anything like that. And so then I was blindsided, and I'm still glad I didn't. I would have felt kind of rotten if I'd done that, but there's part of me also said maybe you should have campaigned more given the circumstances. I don't know how that's going to work out with Corey and America. If they truly think that they're an item after they get out of the house, maybe they come in with soft hands and don't do a lot of hardcore campaigning. If they're less certain of that and they really want to stay, then they ought to be throwing each other under the bus the entire time and say, show man's be damned. I want to stay in this house. Will it make a difference? I don't know, but I will be curious to see how much they do or don't campaign against each other. We'll see what their true intentions are. All right. Vicky Stone saying, after you got your key, how long before you left for Big Brother? Minutes. Truly, it's the way that worked. I'm trying to think if there's any details I can't go into. No, I can pretty much tell you everything. I did not know I was going into the Big Brother house. They do a good job of telling you that, we need production clips and all that just in case you make it in. But, there are a lot of alternates, and, we're just getting stuff ready just in case we do pick you. And I fell for it. I got to say, I kind of thought once they bothered coming out to film and stuff, there's probably a pretty good chance I was going in. But until I pulled my key, I didn't know for certain. But I pulled my key. That was one of the first things they filmed. And then if you remember my clip, they filmed some stuff with me on an oil rig down by the ocean talking, make some hole and doing some job related clips and all that. We went down and filmed that. And when I got back, my suitcase, I'd already packed it up. It's sitting there. And I had about 5-10 minutes to hug my wife and kids and say, see you in 99 days or whatever. More than that, because we had sequester as well. Gave them all hugs, got thrown into a car and heading to the airport. That way it literally was just a few hours later. And just half an hour after they had finished filming my little intro clip and all that. So yeah, it's truly, now they tell you to pack ahead of time. It's not like, oh my God, I got 15 minutes to pack. No, I knew they were coming, and I'd been told just in case you do go, you need to be packed up and everything. For future Big Brother players out there, if you're told that you maybe ought to have everything packed up and they're coming out to film, but you could be an alternate, assume you're going in. And now they do have alternates, so that it's not that that's wrong or incorrect. You could get out there and just hang around in sequester for a week or two and then still go home. But assume you're actually going to LA and you're that close at that time. Yeah, it was quick. I found the key and I'm out the door. And that was hard. Oh, I wanted to turn around and wave to my wife and kids as I pulled away so badly, but I just didn't want to have that I don't know. I didn't want to have that be the last image I had of him. I gave him a big hug and kisses and just stared straight ahead and thought, God, it's gonna be a long time. And it was a long time. All right. My ass is dragging, saying, I hope I'm pronouncing that okay. Producers should do invisible HOH at the beginning of the game when it would be more valuable. I absolutely agree. God, if they'd done it, picture if they'd done it while you still had Sam in the house and Izzy and all those conflicts that were going on, Red and Cameron. You could have had so much fun because you could have gone after targets that no one would expect you to go after. And no one would have any way of knowing who did or didn't unless you revealed it. Yeah, I kind of like Invisible HOH. They did it up in Canada, and it was fun watching it up there as well. But yeah, I think they waited a little too late to do it. They should have done it back during this scary week. Scary, Invisible Man, that all kind of fits together, right? Yeah, I would have even done it earlier than that. I think the earlier it is, the more effective I think it is, because then no one knows who's before Jag had told anyone. There were already people suspecting that it was Jag or Matt just because they're athletic and all that, and figuring the kind of comp it was that probably one of them won it. So even without him saying anything at all, people still would have already been pointing the fingers at him. So maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe inside the house, Jag realizes that it was a waste to try to hide it, that he was better off just coming clean. And I think it's still a boneheaded play, but maybe there's some justification that we'll hear about after he gets out of the house. All right. Patty Bell saying, is there anything they're not allowed to talk about in Jury House? Well, since I wasn't there, I can't tell you for certain, but I do know a little bit. And Misfire saying, do you get mail in jury? I'm pretty sure you do not. I just can't think that there's any way you would. It is possible that you get like some photos that in case you'd want HOH, they probably have some photos available, and you maybe get some of those. And for all I know, you get an HOH letter or two just in case you'd want HOH that had been pre-written or something. But I would assume that you don't get any mail or anything that runs a risk that you find out anything that's going on in the outside world. And then what was the other question about jury? Let's see if I can find that on there. I can't remember the other thing in Jury House. Sorry, ask it again. Sorry about that. Mine's a wandering. Bad Girls Club Avakin saying, what if Jag and Matt still want Corey as a shield and wanting America out? It's possible. If I'm Corey, I'm going in there saying, guys, yes, I'm a shield. Yeah, you do. I guess you have to worry about me coming after y'all if I win something. I can't hide that, but I'm just telling you, I won't. In exchange for you giving me safety, I'll be a shield. If nothing else, guys, I know that y'all are going to be my shields as long as you're in the house. So why would I get rid of y'all and end up being the last guy left? So yeah, that's the way I'd pitch it: is y'all can use me as a shield. I'll use you as a shield. It doesn't benefit any of us to get each other out right now. We need to go after the big targets on the other side and make it happen like that. That's the way I'd be pitching. I think it's valid. I have a feeling it's going to be mentioned. Now, will they do that, or will they go ahead and assume that he's too big a risk and send him out no matter what? I think it's a possibility, but Corey's a good player. I think there's a certain amount of social game and all that. And if America burns her bridges, because here's the thing, the more America just acts so peeved at Jag and Matt, the less likely they think that they'll ever get her back on board. If she's an enemy, why in the world are we going to keep an enemy in the house? Whereas really, it seems like America should have said, look, guys, I know maybe Corey, I'm hoping maybe Corey's a bigger target than I am. And I know it's nothing personal. There's just only so many of us in the house. Obviously, I don't like it, but I'm not holding against y'all because I understand you did what you felt like you had to do from a gameplay standpoint. And hey, I'm still willing to work with y'all when we get out of here, because once Corey's gone, it's just going to be little old only me, and I'm just looking for somewhere to land. And I sure don't want to work with Blue and Suri and all. I feel like America could pitch it as well, but not if she goes in and starts doing the one finger salutes to Jag and things like that. Burning bridges, it should be burning, America. But I get it. It's such a stressful thing, and I think she was in a bit of shock that it happened, and she was upset. It reminds me a lot of my season when Sis found out that she knew she was on the block versus Christy, but when Sis found out that she was actually going home and not Christy, she just blew up. Oh, she screamed. She had words that I, as a 50-something-year-old guy, had never heard of before. Yeah, she had some colorful language for Mickey when she found out that he was basically responsible for sending her out instead of Christy. I feel like it's the same way. Now, in her case, it was a done deal probably, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a game at the end. You don't do that when you lose your game in Monopoly. Of course, you don't play Monopoly for $750,000, but you don't do that when you lose a board game, and that's the way I treated it. I didn't yell at Mickey. I was a little peeved as well, but it is what it is. Well, life goes on. It's just a game at the end of the day. All right. Dane Thomas saying, Bowie has been playing dumb and non-competitive. She's a beast and could have 3 other comps. I'm wondering about that. I think she looks like she ought to be pretty good. I know we all know that she's been throwing comps, right? The only issue I have with Bowie Jane is at some point you have to make some declarations. You can't let someone else do all the dirty work for you. She was so happy when Jag told her that he was the HOH and that he was going to be putting Corey in America. And talk about, oh, it's time. That line we've talked about drawing, it's time to draw that line. And Bowie Jane's like, yeah, draw that line. Encouraging him, feeding him, cheering him on and on. And it probably worked short term for her, but she's got nothing to bank on when she gets to the end. Now maybe she makes it to final 2 because everyone's like, well, who's going to vote for Bowie Jane? She didn't do anything in this game. Maybe. Now she did get Cameron out on her reign, yeah, but still, people aren't really giving her credit for that. She just happened to be HOH that week. If she makes it to the final 2 chairs, I don't see how she wins against anyone. I don't know. I guess maybe she could beat Blue. Maybe she could beat Felicia. I can't see her beating anyone else. So yeah, she's done what it takes to get here. But you're right. If she is a comp beast, if she now turns around and she wins the last 3 or 4 competitions, HOH, Veto, some combination of the 2, and makes it to the end, says, look, guys, I coasted, I floated while I needed to, and then I turned it on at the end, and here I am, and I deserve it because I never even got put on the block. Right? I don't think she's been put on the block yet. There's something to be said for all of that. You know who else did something very similar to that? Casey from season 20. She won a whole bunch at the end and became a bit of a comp beast. It kind of was under the radar for the first half of the season, then suddenly dominated the end. It worked for her, so maybe they'll work for. I'd be okay if Bowie Jane wins it, but she needs to do more between now and the final to show that she deserves it. She can't just let other people keep going after each other. She's going to have to jump in and make some big move as well. Now, if she takes out Matt or Jag, then I'll call that the big move that may bump her right up towards the top. All right. Connie Gabarino saying, what happens after the winner is announced and filming has stopped? Is there a celebration for the cast? Let me look at that. Yes, a little bit. Yeah. Here's the way it works. Now, I will say this was before COVID, so things may have changed a little bit, but the way it worked for us is they do the confetti. The winner's announced. Everyone's on stage hugging everything. They announce the top 3 America's favorite players. Then they award that one. And as the show cuts out, we're all hugging and, it's so great. We spent a little time up on the stage. I met some of the executive producers, some of the people with CBS that were there, some of the, the big wigs, head of programming, things like that, which was kind of cool. Do all of that. But then eventually, at least for me, they said, all right, Cliff, now you need to come with us. And they put us in little green rooms, little separate rooms. And they held us there because they were doing the backyard interviews, right? And you had to wait until it was your turn because we couldn't all be out there at the same time because they didn't have enough stations or people or whatever. So I waited there forever. And I just wanted to see everyone and talk and enjoy the whole atmosphere. But I stuck in this little room with a handler. Eventually, they led me in the backyard, and I just went from spot to spot to spot, interviewing. Rob has a podcast, and Rachel Swindler was doing something. JC was doing something. Entertainment Tonight Canada. I think even Reader's Digest had someone there. There are a lot of people there. So I talked to all of them. Then once that was done, they then had a big, I don't remember what they call it, production party. All of us got to go hang out with a bunch of the people behind the scenes, editors and producers and cameramen and some VIP guests that came in. It was all just a blur. The guy, my handler, he was smart. He said, Cliff, I'm not going to just send you to the door and then stop, because you'll never take another step in if I do that. He said, I'm going to take you to the very center of this big ballroom kind of area. And sure enough, he took me to the center of the ballroom area and said, all right, now it's all you. I spent the next hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever, just talking to people and posing for pictures. I never left more than about 2 feet from where I was. People brought me, little drinks here or there, but basically I just stood there and just talked to everyone. And I think most of us did something similar. Once that was done, they said, all right, guys, let's get you back to your families and everything. They put us all in a van and gave us all our phones and said, we'll be back in the hotel here in a little bit, where they dropped all of us off. So all the guys and gals are pulling out their phones and calling. And of course, everyone's first thought is, oh, how was I treated? People love me. Do they hate me? Well, y'all know my season. There's a few people that don't have a whole lot of fans out there. They kind of got drugged a little bit. And so some of them were looking at their phones going, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's the way it worked on that. All right. I remember the question, Connie, I think you'd ask it about Jury House, saying, what are you not allowed to talk about? You're not allowed to talk about the game and who deserves it and everything else. You're not supposed to talk gameplay at all. I'm sure they still do, but you're not supposed to. And there's, I think, handlers that are kind of standing around that if you start to, they'll say, no, y'all can't talk about that. But again, I wasn't there, so I don't know for 100%. All right. Quick comment. Tim Cox. Tim, thank you for the support. I appreciate the super sticker. It is much appreciated. You and Spoof both. And Spoof was saying, what an exciting week of Big Brother. Yeah, I was ready for this. It's been fun looking at scenarios and everything. So Spoof, thank you. Tim Cox, thank you both. I absolutely appreciate it. All right. Wow. Already 8 o'clock. All right. Let me get a couple of questions and we'll wrap it up. Melanie Sorrell saying, even if America ticks everyone off, she's unlikely to win anything. Won't that make her safe? Yeah, you would think so. That people are going to say, hey, why send her out if she can't win anything? Now, she came close on that endurance competition, right? The pressure cooker. But you're right. If they feel like Corey's a more strategic player, then maybe they keep her just for that reason alone. That's the issue. Do you keep the person who is the biggest strategic threat, or do you keep the person who maybe is the most willing to work with you in terms of votes and everything? Well, now that she's kind of hollered at Jag, maybe that second issue isn't as big a decider as well. I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I think Corey has presented himself as too big a threat to ignore at this point in time. If I'm Matt and Jag, I'm also realizing that I don't know. But then you've got the whole gender element of America aligning with the girls versus, because Bowie Jane had already told Matt and Jag, said, I know those girls are going to try to pull me into some kind of girls alliance. I'll let you know, but just so you know. So they've got to be aware of it. For that reason alone, it doesn't matter what America hasn't done or what Corey has done. Just that reason alone, there may be incentive to hold on to Corey. But having said that, I don't think they're going to do it. I think he's going home on Thursday. But Thursday's a long way away from now, right? And knowing the way this house goes, I don't know. All right, guys, we're gonna call it there. It's 8 o'clock, a little afterwards. I knew this was. We could talk for 2 or 3 hours, I'm sure, but we'll do it again next Monday. And in between, any questions you got, comments, shoot them to me on Instagram or Twitter, either one. I'll respond. Unless it's just something incredibly oddball. Well, even those. Send me your questions, comments. I'll answer everything I can because I love talking Big Brother here and on the social medias as well. Guys, y'all have a fantastic rest of Monday evening. Enjoy the rest of the week. Just for those of you who aren't aware, I do the recap every morning. So I'll be here tomorrow morning to do not live, but I'll do a recap of what happened overnight. we'll see if America's still a little peeved at Jag and Matt, but we'll do that. And if you haven't done so already, yeah, please consider going out, subscribing to the show, turning on notifications, and give me a thumbs up, because I like those thumbs up on YouTube and everywhere in life. I'm a thumbs up kind of guy. Guys, y'all have a great Monday. I will talk to y'all tomorrow morning, and until then, it's gonna be a great Big Brother week, I think. Let's see what happens on Thursdays. Guys, y'all have a great one. Cheers, my friends. SKD 143. Bye.